Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode here on Keys to the Kingdom. As always, my name is Sam, and I'm here to help you with your purpose based business. That's what we're doing today, and we're going to be talking about your performance, right? As an individual, unique soul, how should you perform when it comes to creating content? How can you tap into that creative layer of reality? And what is it that you came here to do? How can you, how to create content out of nothing? That's what I want to talk about today. So why do I keep waving this pen around like it's a wand? Hello, Hamora. Because first things first, I'm still in my apartment. I'm tapping into the creative layer of reality right now. So first things first, I need to grab my camera. I need to get organized. I'm going to take you on a journey of how I create some content for a YouTube video, and I'm going to show you how to do it because it's really quite easy. You just have to film your life and what you want to do and feel that calling, where you want to go in life and what you want to do, and then we're going to, that feeling that comes up. I want to go to the beach, but I need to make a video. I just don't know what to do. Hang on a minute. I'll grab my camera and I'll make a video at the beach. Like, that's the calling. Whatever lights you up, if it gives you goosebumps. So get the things that you think you might need. Pen, and I'm going to bring my diary. I've got a multitude of diaries. I've got many diaries. I think, how many diaries have I got? I've got a big diary that I write down video ideas and things like that, and when I speak to my clients, it's got a load of different sections. Also, I can write notes, future plans, anything like that in there. And then I've also got a diary where it's going to tell you, it's my to-do list. I should tell you these things because it's all part of being a creator. Then I've got my trading journal because I do Forex trading. And I've got my trading rules book. And then I've also got Earth Pathways. So whenever I get to a point in life where I think I've got two paths to choose right now, what way shall I go? Serious, this is serious talk. I put it in here. And I've also got sticky notes, as I like to put sticky notes everywhere. You've got to be focused as an entrepreneur. So I'm going to the beach, and I'm going to bring with me my diary, my pen, and I'm going to be organised because my future self will thank me for it when I get there and I go to reach into my bag to write a video idea and I haven't got my diary. My future self is not going to be happy. My future self's not going to be happy with me, is he? So I've got to organise myself. That's the first key to manifestation. That's the first key to creating content, is be organised. I've also brushed my teeth because I don't want to start making a video, make a really good video, and then watch it back later and I've got yellow teeth and I don't want to upload it now and I'm not happy. These are just things that individually you go through. Maybe you don't care about that sort of thing, but these are the things that you got to think about before you're making some content. That when I'm going to the beach, I'm going to need a towel to sit on. Organise. I'm going to need my glasses for the bike. I'm going to need my hat for the sun. I'm going to listen to some tunes as well on my bike. Should probably wear. Yeah, this is my protection because now I'm in the zone. And I'm going to also bring water because I don't want to get a dry mouth. I know this because I've done videos for a long time. And I know the sort of things that happen. You make a video, you're 8 minutes in, and then you just don't like it and you want to start again. That can happen. And that's fine. You're in charge. If you want to start again, don't beat yourself up. Just start again. You're in charge. Speaking of charged, have you charged your camera? Yes. Have you deleted all the other stuff off it so that you've got space on there to create as much content as you want? Yes. Have you got your mic? Yes. Is it on? No. So, that's not good. That means the start of this video won't have that. But now we know. This is all part of the process. See, now you can see my future self, or my present self, is not happy with my past self. I should have, I should have put the mic on. But I was only intending this to be a couple of minutes. We've already gone on, and we're going to move into the next part of the video now, which the mic will be attached. Peace. And here I am at the beach. You know, the next steps are to find a location where the lighting is good and where you feel comfortable, like you're not going to be interrupted. But you also have to prepare your mind for being interrupted. If someone just comes into the shot, or maybe, you know, people walk past, or someone wants to talk to me, I've always got to be aware of that. So I always like to just see everything as happening for a reason. That's what I like to do when I'm making my videos. So I like to just go in the flow state. And having a purpose-based business is really about choosing a life that you're happy to be living, and just filming and making a business out of your life. So it shouldn't really require much editing all the time. Maybe your business does include that, but it doesn't need to include editing. That's what a good purpose-based business is. It's not taking up too much of your time on the laptop, because it takes up enough of your time as it is. So the next stage, when you've found your location and you've got all your equipment ready and you're fully prepared, is like moments like this don't always come around so often. Sometimes it's hard to go out to make a video, you know, so you might want to batch create your content and make multiple videos. So it's good to, you know, like I said, bring your diary, a pen, maybe write down a few ideas, and they don't all have to be really long videos. You could make a few videos for, you know, your other platforms. Like I make a lot of short videos for YouTube, and I make Instagram videos where I use my phone and it's more of a portrait video. And then I use my Osmo Pocket 3, the DJI camera in my hand now, which is 4K, and they're landscape videos for my YouTube and my Patreon. And the next step is being fearless, right? You've got to be fearless when you're going to go and make a video. So like, I always prepare my mind before I come here that no matter what happens, I'm going to make a video. No matter what happens, I'm going to complete the video as well. And sometimes the hardest part is just starting and just making, you've got your location. The first thing to do is get your camera out, so you've got it in your hand. And now, because you don't want to just sit there thinking about it, and then by the time you've started and got your camera out, the sun's gone down and things have changed. The best lighting, if you're going to do videos outside, is either when it's cloudy, so the light's not directly in your face sort of thing and you can actually see, or when the sun is going down, or when the sun's coming up. Like if I put the video this way, I should be sitting that way really, but I'm happy where I am. Look where we are. This is my favourite location in Phuket. It's a nice atmosphere, people are happy, it's chilled. And I have 5 rules when it comes to making YouTube videos and getting into the flow state. You may know them because I've spoken about them before, but I'm going to go through them thoroughly for you today, because purpose-based business, how do you get a good performance when you've got your video, you've got your video ideas, you've got everything ready, you're fearless, you've done everything I've said up to this point? How do you make sure that you get into the flow state? It can be very hard to actually just be on camera and make a video. Sometimes we're worried about what people think of us and how should we act. You see someone online that you're inspired by and you try to imitate them, but now you're stepping out of your purpose, you're stepping out of your God-given frequency, and sometimes when we talk about frequencies, if we're aligned to someone else's frequency, or if we're doing it from a people-pleasing state, or other people's expectations of us, society's expectations, what your mum's going to think of you. If you've got these sort of things in mind when you're making your video, you're not going to get the results from the purpose-based business, because purpose-based business is about tapping into the natural blueprint of the seed within you. So we're tapping into our true essence, our true vibration. You know, you can make a video trying to people please, but you're only tapping into their frequency then. You're shortening your audience span. Like, we want to be not only getting to the most amount of people, but we want to get to people that are on our unique individual frequency. And when you do this, you become the author of your own journey. When you step into your authenticity, you become the author. The author is the one that writes. And what do you write with? You write with your wand. Your body is your wand. You're out here taking actions, and your actions are like disciplines, and your disciplines are the magic that you're wielding. And so back to the performance part of this video, how to actually perform your video is, yes, it's good to have a script. Like, you've got a bit of a script, like maybe 10 points, that you've got an intro, a middle and an end, right? You know, you've got a core message that you want to give across. You're going to tell your audience a little bit about you know, your story, how you've learned about this information that you want to share with your audience. And I'm going to do a whole video dedicated to scripting as well coming up soon. So I'm not going to get into all of that too much now, but so you've got your script, or whatever it is that you're going to do when you make the video. How do you tap into your flow state? Because sometimes we have a script and we feel like we have to stick to the script way more than you actually do. You don't need to necessarily stick to the script. It's better to get into the flow state and allow what's to come through you to come through you. So the 5 rules that I always have when I'm going to make a video, just before I press play, I always say to myself, I think in the language of integrity, I operate in the language of authenticity, I relate in the language of responsibility, I share in the language of enriching, I care in the language for completion. Because that is the ultimate flow state, right? You think in the language of integrity. So tap into the video idea that you're going to make, like, think about it, read the script, right? This is the sort of video I'm going to get. Remember the inspiration that gave you the idea for the video. Try to tap into that energy when that flow state come through, when you got that download about that video idea. Try to tap into that. And now you're going to think in the language of integrity. You know where you're going to start your video, you know where you're going to go. If you sort of, once you've finished your introduction, you've got your sort of middle, the core message, you've got you've got these 3 basic points: middle, the beginning, middle, and the end. And you're going to transition through each of them at some point. But you're going to start with the beginning, and you're going to think in the language of integrity. So you're probably going to know what to say to start with, because that's what you're going to start thinking about, right? And then you don't necessarily have to know what you're going to say next. You just need to allow yourself to be present. And when the thoughts come through, like you have the thought about making this video, for example, and as I'm making this type of video, I get ideas come through as I'm making the video, and I allow that to be a download and channeled message. And I accept that I'm probably going to watch this back and learn a lot too. It's like God is channeling through me as well. But it's your source, it's your soul mission channeling through you. And this is why it's so beautiful, because it's just effortless creation, and that's what you're here for. You're not here to struggle all the time. You know, we've been through a lot of that. That's taught us the life lessons and made us do the shadow work to grow and evolve into this person. But now we're ready to teach others. You can't just be a follower, watch everyone else all your life. There's nothing wrong with, you know, learning and getting inspiration like you guys watching this video right now. But at the same time, you got to get it 50-50. Like, I learn and listen to people also, you know, I've got mentors, but I also mentor others. I also, you know, not only do I do one-to-one sessions with people, but I'm creating my own vision, my own story, and sharing my story. So you're going to think in the language of integrity. What comes through, you're sort of getting into this flow state, and over time it's going to help you to evolve, because you're learning how to channel, you're learning how to channel your intuition. You're going to apply this in other areas of your life. That's why this purpose-based business and this technique of performance-based business, that's why it's going to benefit you in every area of your life. Even when it comes to your diet, you're going to start listening to your intuition. Even when it comes to your training in the gym, you're going to listen to your intuition. When it comes to having fun, you're going to be more able to not just be in your subconscious patterns all the time. You're going to be able to break out of it at any time, because you're learning how to think in the language of integrity. You know, and integrity also means meaning what you say, doing what you say. I'm not lying to you guys, I'm doing exactly what I'm telling you. You know, what I talk about is me, it's what I do. That's how I'm able to have content and products to share with you guys, because I've just made my life and what I naturally do as a life path number one. If you look up your numerology, that's really important to knowing who you are also. I recommend knowing your numerology, knowing your natal chart, and then applying what you learn from studying about yourself through these ways. You're applying that into your purpose-based business. So I'm just creating, like, I'm born to be a leader, so naturally I have motivational thoughts just for myself. You know, I have these little inspirations of motivation just come through me, and I just share them on my short videos, and I share them, you know, not just motivation, but everything I share is something that's flowed through me. So you think in the language of integrity, so that's going to teach you how to channel. And then you operate in the language of authenticity. So, for example, like right now, getting a bit of a dry mouth, I've got my water here. And, you know, at times I think, well, maybe, am I wasting people's time if I get my water out or something? No, because I'm teaching people how to be themselves in the moment, relaxed. It's okay, because you'll get much more better results when you learn how to relax, whilst you're making your content. You know, breathe, prepare your mind mentally, and like I say, don't tune into anyone else's frequency, tune into your core and your center first. Operating in the language of authenticity, meaning you're not trying to people please, you're just allowing yourself to be yourself. And who is yourself? Like I say, study your natal chart, study your numerology, and you're going to start to get ideas. This is why when I do reprogramming of people's subconscious mind, personalized subliminal reprogramming, I like to see your natal chart and your numerology, because I want to find out more about who you are, and then highlight your key aspects, the best side of yourself, you know, and find out what your weaknesses are, and we can reprogram the weaknesses. You don't need to be, you know, when you're aware of weaknesses that we have, then they don't control us anymore, and we can create a different story around it. We can create a different spin on it. So operating in the language of authenticity is key. Relate in the language of responsibility. You know, sometimes I can want to just make a load of silly videos, and that's fair enough if you've got an entertainment channel. But you got to decide, are you going to be an entertainment channel, or are you going to be an education channel, or are you going to be an edutainment channel, which is a bit of both. And you're going to know this by, again, looking in your natal chart. What sort of a person are you? What sort of a person are you without looking at your natal chart? Are you a funny sort of person? You know, what are you like just on a day-to-day basis? You want to understand your own self, but decide. If you're going to be an educational channel, then there's no point doing loads of entertainment stuff all the time. I still make people laugh sometimes, but I'm more of an education channel, and I stick to that as a niche. So I always relate in the language of responsibility. I'm aware that people come to me, they, you know, paying their hard-earned money, and I am responsible with their needs. It's not only about money. It's not only about money, but it's also about. Sorry, someone was trying to call me. It's not just about money. Relating in the language of responsibility is about understanding that people have struggles in life and they're going through something tough. You never know what people are going through, so I'm always responsible with what I say, and I try to explain things really properly because you don't know who's watching on the other side. People, may have some sort of mental disability. Someone might be from a different country, they might be French watching me, and they understand English a little bit, so I've got to be really clear with my words when I'm speaking. Be aware of who could be potentially watching, and I'm honest, I'm not going to lie to you, and that's really key. So relate in the language of responsibility, be true to yourself, and you'll get a true reflection in your mirror world, right? Whatever you give, you get back. And how would you want other people to treat you? You'd want them to treat you with responsibility. And the more you can be responsible for your actions, the more power you gain, and you're taking charge. You're responsible now. You're taking charge, so you get charged by the source, right? That's how it works. Share in the language of enriching. Now, how does this work? It's not just about giving. It's about when I'm sharing a concept and making a video idea. Say you've got your bullet points written down. Sometimes when I'm tutoring someone on performance, I notice that they expect me sometimes to finish their sentences. They expect me to know what they're going to say without them saying it. And maybe I do know, maybe I could finish their sentence, but when you're making a video, you can't assume people know what's in your head. You have to paint a picture for them. Paint a picture with your words. Create a very clear picture for people, and you do that by sharing all the little details, anything that comes to your mind. When you think in the language of integrity, you get this channeled message come through, and really you want to share. There's a dog just running. Really you want to share you're sharing in the language of enriching, so you want to share all the details. This is quite funny. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Yeah, look, I've got to be responsible because I've got to get back. This is not an entertainment channel. I've got to be responsible, and I've got to be aware of your time. And in this video even, I'm giving you as much value as I can give you, because sometimes we think, like with the information that we know, we think, well, I could save this bit of information for later and then I could put it for sale and use that as a course later on. To start with, when you're creating a purpose-based business, try to just don't think about what courses I'm going to make. It's good to have a product and stuff like that, but maybe you hold back information in your mind. It's always best to share with people, because now you're going to inspire people, you're going to make people want to spend their money with you, you're going to make people, because you're actually helping them with something, they're going to want to help you with something. And that's what sharing the language of enriching is. You're enriching someone's life with what you're sharing them, and they're going to enrich your life back. That's the connection that we're going for. That's a spiritual connection. And care in the language of completion. Again, sometimes we think people are going to be able to finish our sentences for us. And whenever I'm explaining something, I always make sure I complete what I'm sharing. I'm not just going to assume you know things. I'm going to explain it all in detail. I'm going to complete my sentences. And maybe if I say something and I mess up my words a little bit, or it wasn't quite clear, I'll just say it again, like you've probably heard me do in this video. Because I want you to receive my message clearly. So always care in the language of completion. And you can apply this throughout your whole life. If you're washing your dishes, complete it, before you move on to the next task. Otherwise, I'll call you Arthur job, because you only do half a job. So always care in the language of completion. And that way you're going to get the best out of your videos. move from the beginning of the video, you transition to the middle, and you transition to the end. You have to be able to close your videos. And of course, in your videos, always leave plugs to your other things. Like if you have an ebook, you know, you got to find ways of being able to just put a little plug in your video. And by plug, I mean you're mentioning something that is going to specifically make the user think of your products or your services or your exclusive content. You've got to make little plugs, because you're putting out all this information and all this work. You're doing a lot for your audience, and people want to work with you. It's not like I'm greedy and I just want people to spend their money with me. It's more to the point that you deserve it. Like, that's what life's about. And not even that you deserve it, it's that people want your services. But you don't know that, you don't believe that, and you don't think that, because you haven't put your services out there, so you don't know that people want them, you know? So when you create your business clearly and you put it out there, you're guaranteed to get work. There's people that are waiting for your message, and I'm so happy to be able to help you to create your purpose-based business. So I hope you enjoyed this video, my friends, and until next time, let me know your questions in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love, my friends, and thank you for being here.